Alright, so I have a really scary story to bring to you guys. I saw this on Facebook and I felt it was necessary that I share this. Um, so NBC News has a story: opioid crisis batters Georgia as suspicious Percocet kills two. Now, actually, the death toll from these fake Percocet pills is four the last time I checked, and it's expected to continue to rise. And there have been lots of overdoses from these pills, as you're about to see. So it goes on. Police on Tuesday were hunting for whoever is responsible for sending a wave of drug overdoses crashing through middle Georgia that killed at least two people and sickened dozens more. Like I said, at least four people are dead now. In a cascade of chaos spanning 48 hours, emergency responders used, quote, massive doses, end quote, of emergency opioid overdose treatment naloxone to revive victims who were unconscious or who had stopped breathing altogether, the State Department said in a statement. So, yeah, that's scary. Now, these fake pills, they don't really talk about it much in this article, but what they are pressed pills or pills that are made illegally, usually or almost always don't contain the real substance that they are pretending to be. People get a machine, and once somebody has a pill press machine, they're able to basically mimic any pill you can think of, the shape, color, letters, imprints on them. I mean, there have been stories of fake Xanax pills in Texas in the past year, going all the way through the south, the east, and just last month in Georgia, the GBI issued a warning about oxycodone pills that had fentanyl in them. And as you'll see, fentanyl is probably what is causing all of these people to get so sick that some of them are dying and dozens are going to the emergency room. So, patients reported purchasing yellow pills alleged to be Percocet, an opioid pain medication, according to the statement. The substance has not yet been identified but is extremely potent. So I say with 95% assurity that it is fentanyl. The reason that they don't know what it is because they just haven't gotten the lab results back yet. But there is no other street drug that is, well, fentanyl is not a street drug, it's a synthetic opioid that is actually somehow legally prescribed to patients, even though it's 20 to 50 times 20 to 50 times more potent than heroin. That's insane. Who needs that? Who is in that much pain? I mean, I can't think of any reason why somebody would need something 20 times stronger than heroin. But anyways, when you put one drop of fentanyl, like enough to fit on the tip of your finger, that is enough to kill an adult. So just a tiny amount. Now, people will mix fentanyl in with these pressed pills to make them mimic the effects of a Percocet, Oxycontin, oxycodone, hydrocodone. I'm sure there's more, even Xanax, like I said earlier, and apparently cocaine, but I don't know. That would be a pretty stupid person to notice that, or not notice that their cocaine has heroin in it. But I digress. Now, according to the chief medical officer at the Navicent Health Center in Macon, this guy Henry or Christopher Henry, he said that just within the first 48 hours, because that they don't know how many more patients are going to present the symptoms, we could just see a lot more death. And like I said, it already doubled, so it went from 2 to 4 deaths. Now, the reason why it's just so locally, or why it's a problem in just these areas, Perry, Warner Robins, Albany, Centerville, and parts of Macon, is more likely than not because it's from a dealer who got his shit from, either made it or got his shit from somebody who cut it with either too much fentanyl or it wasn't an even distribution of fentanyl in there. And now, as a result, people are getting sick and dying. And the most frustrating thing about this story isn't that people are going to buy illegal drugs or, legal drugs without a prescription because, I mean, how much more evidence do we need that opiates are the most addictive, like, street drug you can take these days? There's an amazing statistic that I heard just today, and that is the number one cause of death for adults below the age of 50 in the United States is painkiller overdose. Now, there's definitely a need for painkillers, so you can't just make them illegal. And we already know that making things illegal just drives the black market and then causes people to create fake versions of these pills and then sell them as the real thing and getting innocent people sick. And it's so fucked up. Like, this story just breaks my heart because we're not even talking about people that would most likely be addicted to heroin in the first place. I know countless people that have purchased in Warner Robins, Georgia specifically, illegally bought Percocet, hydrocodone, oxycodone, Vicodin. There's another one that was roxycodone. That was a one that was particularly bad. And as a result, of these pills, I saw good friends of mine start to use heroin when they couldn't afford to buy them anymore. So it's not like these stories are just one in a million. I mean, this is happening fucking everywhere, all over the United States. The number one leading cause of death for people under the age of 50. So what do you do about it? Well, first of all, when you talk about legalizing, taxing, and regulating drugs, you have to remember that there's an emphasis on regulating. Now, if we just went across the board and legalized all drugs, which I think we should do, it sounds crazy, but by legalizing them, you're therefore able to study and therefore regulate the drug as needed. So would you have a drug like bath salts or fentanyl in an ideal system? No, because you would regulate them out. And people wouldn't be pushed to the black market to buy oxycodone if they're able to take it without being addicted, or maybe if they are addicted. If they need it, why can't they just go buy it if we're free and live in a free society? And it just sounds really counterintuitive, and it's an issue that people are still trying to understand, and I'm trying to bring people around to. But legalize, tax, and regulate all drugs, not just weed. I mean, and if you make meth illegal, which it is currently, even though amphetamine or Adderall, yeah, it's funny, most people don't know Adderall is literally just amphetamine, it's speed. Um, yeah, so we could regulate out the bad chemicals in meth, and then people could just go buy Adderall and not have to worry about these negative side effects. Because people are gonna take them regardless. If there's one thing we have learned throughout the last 100 years, in America at least, is that prohibition does not work. It's the cause of so much bad shit. And we just need to stay woke. And I hope this is fucking recording. I'll be so